Hey Bruce and David, I just want to make a quick video to show you guys the store procedure that I finally finished. Um, Basically, we can look up everything we need to look up through this one viewer, and let me give you kind of a high level idea as to how this works. All of our relationships stay the same. Obviously, we couldn't include the from and to dates in this general format just because they were too complicated. But this is a good scheme to show how what we're trying to accomplish, and that everything has to always start from this point, your first tank dictionary zero, because the production when you report production values, we'll always do it by tank ID and by a date. So the idea of the store procedure is that we need to take a tank ID and a certain date between this date range, and we have to match it to all these different dictionaries here and pull out all the necessary fields that we need. So the way we need to do that is that under this table tank dictionary zero, which is here, we have to go through every single from and to date to make sure that we have all the parameters that we need. And that's all the store procedure does. It takes each one of these and runs through all these relationships and pulls them out and compares the dates together, and then compiles them to one nice clean profile that that we know is reconciled and we can begin using. So the way we would need to do this, I have a ability to look at everything in one click, but since I'm still validating the procedure because there may be a few bugs in it, I've chosen to go one by one, just for the time being until we kind of figure out if everything is right in the code. But I can show you one profile that I know is good. So if you go to the first one, tank ID 26309, it will automatically populate the from date that's available, populate the to date that's available, and then under the action, you can just choose run, and then it will process all the data through the store procedure, and then it puts everything out in this nice clean format. So the way you read this, and I'll go ahead and just hide cycle number 1 just for now, so I can explain. What happens is that the procedure takes your tank ID that you chose and it puts it in the pre-field name, and it gives a pre-field type of tank ID. So what it's saying is that I'm going to use my pre-field type of tank ID and look up the pre-field name into this dictionary to find the tank name of the post-field name, which is Union 0 U759. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tank ID date range and put it into these two columns for the pre and from, and pre-to. These are your tank ID. This is your tank ID date range all the way down. But from this line, it's going to pull in the post from and post to date as the date range associated with this post field type, and it puts it here. And the reason why we need to put this here is because now we need to compare this date range to this date range to see if they're a match, and you can see that they are. So then the procedure says, okay, well now I'm going to take my tank name, my post field type and name, here and here, I'm going to put it here and here. And then with these two, I'm going to look up the fluid, and I'm going to look up the fluid, which is oil, in the post field type name. And then again, we're going to pull in the dates of these two items. And it does this all the way down. So then it replicates your tank name down here to look up BPI battery name. It pulls the battery name here and here into here and here to look up the production unit. It takes the production unit to put here and here to look up the lease ID, and then puts the lease ID here, here, and here to find the allocation, the district, and the well name. Then it takes the well name and puts the well name here to look up the well allocation. And while doing all this back and forth, it's also pulling in date ranges from each one of these post field types and names. So then what the procedure does is it says, okay, let's check my well location. My well location is less than 1, and I know my final allocation has to be 1. So that means that there has to be another 50% allocation somewhere. So the system will automatically replicate your profile and look for that extra well name and well location. And you can see it finds it here as ARPA PG number 2 with a well location of 50% as well. And then by replicating this, we can transpose this whole profile into a master table that we will use to break up our production reports into the right allocations that they should be in. But before that, and this is the problem that I was having before, is that if you notice that these dates here, they don't all line up with each other. They're all staggered. So what the procedure has to do is it has to find the smallest window where all these are matching, and it does that by finding the greatest from date, which is 5/1006, and it puts it here under the final from date. Then it has to go and find the smallest to date, which is 11/30, and it puts that here. So by doing that, then you know that you have the window that's the smallest date window, and you can apply it to everything, and you create a profile based on that. Then whatever this difference is between, I'm sorry, let me reorder it so I can see it again. Then you know that the difference of this and this, which there is no difference, but if there was, then it would truncate that difference off and repopulate it back in at the bottom of your table tank dictionary 0 and create an orphan record that the system would have to go back and match again. So by doing this, then we create a perfect profile that we can use to match up all of our production reports with. So this one is good, and you can see that the system will automatically tell you that it's good. If you want to filter certain fields out of this view, then you can just go to filter or choose filter. And like for instance, I don't need to see the code order, or maybe if you decide you don't need to see the pre from date because you already have that. So if I want to take out the pre from date and the pre to date, I don't really need these two fields because I know they're right here. So you just close this and then go to filter fields, and you can see they go away. And it makes it a little bit easier to view. If you want to resize the columns, you can do this, or you can resize the subform too. And I just do this for my convenience because it's easier for me to see these things. Also, if you were to sort these things and you want to put them back into the right order, you just go to order, and then it puts them how the dictionary, how the macro reads everything. So this is a good profile, and this profile we would transpose and then put into our master table. And let me just show you quickly how the master table looks. So this is basically the final table that we're trying to work towards. And I'm going to probably find this one actually because it should be there. So if I look up this, it could be here. Yeah, here you go. So you have so it basically it took all this data and it transposed it into this master. This is our final table we're trying to build. And so you can see that what you have is that you have this final allocation number that you can see adds up to 1. And it has each one of these parameters that we need. And now what happens is that when we add in a tank ID, for every tank ID that we enter, it will get 2 of these records like this that will assign them to like a final allocation, but also a final production value, probably between this and this. So this is essentially what we're trying to make. Now, my job now is I need to go through each one of these and figure out where the problems are, because we do have some problems. For instance, on tank ID 101, sorry, let me make sure this is the one. If you select the 8/3/2011 and 3/16/2013 and then do the run, you can see that this one does have a problem. And I'm going to start making a list of all these problems and post it here. Basically, the problem with this profile, and I put it here, is that this lease ID 25531 has 2 well names associated for a given date range, and well dates are staggered and have allocations of 1. So basically, if you look at this well name here, it actually encapsulates this well name of Donner number 2 from 8/2011 to 4/2012, and they both match this date range of this lease ID. So these well locations both add to 2, which is programmatically not correct. So this would be something that we would need to fix. And you can see it here. So basically, this is the tank ID 101, and the error check will tell you that it's bad. And you can see that the good thing about this is that you can, if you know what you want to look for, you can just filter for it. So I can look at like this lease. I know there's nothing wrong with lease allocation, so I just want to look at lease ID, well location, and well name, and then do the order. So you can see that this lease ID here under this cycle has this well name, and again you have another cycle, this lease ID here of $2, but the well locations are both 1. So that could never be. For some reason, we'd have to go and check as to why that is. But this would be an example of a profile that's not good. So we would need to fix it before we can put it into our final table. Okay, so I'm going to go through each one of these individually and look them up and find the problems, and then I'm going to start tabulating the problems here, and I'll just alter the color so you can see the difference between them. Okay, well, let me know if you guys have any questions.